Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. This is Racquel Palmese. It's wonderful to be with you. I'm starting to work again at my healing studio, which is where we are, instead of at various places in my house. It's very good to be with you here and invite you here. This is sacred space for me and for so many others who have been doing their work with me over the years. So welcome here and welcome to now. I'd like to start off today with a little story. And as you're preparing to hear the story, of course, as always, let's take a couple of deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth, and really never, ever take these breaths for granted. Hi, Abbas. Hi, Rachel. Good to see you. Hello, everybody on Instagram. Good to see everybody. So we're breathing. And we're not just breathing. Breathing exercises and conscious breathing is something a lot of us engage in regularly, thank goodness. But also I think we need to stay aware that each breath that we take is a new breath. So we focus on the breath as something new, that every breath has never been breathed before. Think of that. Put that into your collective system. See how that feels, this breath. Maybe this is the same air that a dinosaur breathed millions of years ago. Just like the drink of water you took before might be the same water that an ancient Egyptian knelt by a stream and drank 5,000 years ago. But this breath that we're taking is brand new, because where you are now, who you are now, is constantly changing. The body is in a constant state of spontaneous adaptation. It's always growing, always changing. And many of you who work with me know that I talk about this all the time because it's a wonder. And it's awareness. It's an awareness that a lot of times we just bypass. We don't think about it because we feel kind of stuck, or we feel the same and it's the same old, and we're trying to change up things, or we don't realize that we are changing every second. Even as you listen to this, the brain sending out dendrites, learning, reimagining itself constantly. Why we decide that stillness is so great, I don't know. But for right now, let's take a brand new breath. Hi, Johanna. Oh, Justine. Hi, everybody. So this is new. Let it be new. What if your moments actually became new things? What if we dropped our propensity in our associative minds to keep comparing this moment to another moment in the past as if we already lived it? Why would we do that? Just because that's what we do? We learn by association? No. We don't really, maybe in certain things, but really we learn by opening, by looking forward. And maybe what happened in the past can influence the lessons of the past are really important, but not to be relived over and over and over again. What do you say? What about keep it new? What about that? My daughter, Justine, is a jewelry designer. I think she might be with us right now. And the thing I love, well, one of the millions of things that I love so much about her, is that in her designs, even if she uses a mold to make each one, no two of them are ever alike. She finishes them just a little differently. They have her touch on them because the day she's making it is different than the day she made the last one. And what is going into that is different. And she keeps inventing these new things, these new designs. She can't help it because she lives a life of constant renewal. Honestly, I've hardly ever heard her use the word bored. I've hardly ever seen her thinking about life, even in the most drudgery of times, as something that's just old and dead. She is so full of life because she is constantly on the move with it. She doesn't look back that much. Just thinking about it, talking to you here, I'm scanning my memory, and that's what I know of my daughter. And even though she lives across the ocean in England and we don't hardly see each other, especially over the last year or so, I know her because she has made herself so visible, not just because she's on social media with her jewelry, but because she doesn't hide herself. She loves people. She loves people, and she loves to make people look beautiful. Her favorite thing. So let's take this breath as a brand new breath. Let's think of this moment as something that's never been lived before. Let's listen to what comes forth in this Wisdom Wednesday, because I don't really know what it's going to be very much myself. Let's listen to what comes through this stream of consciousness with a new pair of ears. Perhaps the information isn't that new. Perhaps you've heard about a new breath and a new day before. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. Let this be a new pair of ears, a new way of hearing in this moment, so that you can grow yourself, so that you can evolve yourself. Where you're standing, where you are in this moment of time, is energetically completely different, even if the location is the same. Energetically, it is completely different than it was even an hour ago. Things shift constantly. So breathing a new breath. Moving your body, wiggle around a little, feel some energy moving inside you. And here's a story for you. A 16-year-old boy hates cheese. He's always hated cheese. Can't stand cheese of any kind. Even pizza cheese. He would just, his whole life. Never liked it. Couldn't understand how anybody could eat the gloppy stuff. Would laugh at everybody, all the cheese lovers. So as fate would have it, this 16-year-old boy gets a girlfriend. And guess what? The girlfriend, of course, loves cheese. She even sells cheese at the farmer's market on the weekends. She likes to make her own cheese. This boy is completely smitten with this girl, except the cheese is a problem. And he's actually thinking, I don't know about this girl. She likes cheese. How could I ever get along with a cheese lover? The girl is thinking, this guy doesn't really like me. How could he like me and not like my passion for cheese? And they're just like this. So there they are. And they're at the farmer's market. And she's selling her cheese, and she raves about her cheeses to all the customers, and they love her, and she gives them taste. And all of a sudden, something magical happens to the boy. He softens, and his stubborn consternation starts evaporating. He doesn't even know how to be at that moment. Suddenly he asks her for a taste of the cheese. And she looks at him like, what? Well, okay, here's one I think you'll like. And she looks at him with such adoration and such joy that he takes a bite of the cheese. Now, whether he liked it or not, he sure liked what was passing between them. And what he really loved is the softening that happened in his heart. That moment of decision when he went from a no to a yes, or even a maybe. That moment when he let go of his ego need to be a non-cheese person is a life lesson, not for him, but probably for all of us. Going from a no to a yes is probably the most powerful thing, and sometimes the most difficult thing that any of us do. Because the no's can sound so right. We identify ourselves as a person who doesn't like this, doesn't do that. I like people who this, that, and the other thing. Our lives are full of no's. And as we age, as we go through life, those no's, they get more. We get more no's. Not less, usually, unless we're working, unless we're on a path like this of opening rather than closing. If we are on a path of opening instead of closing, we have to find those no's. Look at yourself. No, I'll never have a job where I work for another person. I'm an entrepreneur. I don't do that. Person gets to be about 50 years old and looks back and says, I gave up an awful lot of opportunities because I was just an obstinate idiot. Wouldn't even give it a try. Here's another story. It's a little more tender, a little more difficult, but one that you might relate to. I worked with a couple recently who touch my heart deeply all the time. They are very devoted teachers, each of them, spiritual teachers, very devoted to their path, very evolved and beautiful beings. And they are in a relationship too. And they were having this fight. And they're lying in bed and they're fighting. They're fighting so loud the neighbors could hear them. They're just going at it and going at it. And finally, they just both were feeling, maybe we need to end this relationship. It got there. They were so sad and distraught. The impossibility of the bridge, of trying to build a bridge back to each other, seemed impossible. can't do it. This thing keeps coming up and I just am exhausted. I can't do it. So they both kind of rolled over on their sides, their backs to each other, feeling horrible, feeling like an ending was happening, feeling like they had no control over anything, their emotions, their life, their anything. The absence of spirit was profound in that moment. And just like the 16-year-old boy, something magical happened. One of them felt what I imagine was just a shaft of light energy coming in and striking her heart. And in a second, she rolled over and put her hand on his back. Now, my memory may have it wrong. It might have been the other way around. Maybe he did it. I don't remember. But let's say it was her. And she put her hand on his back. And she softened. And he softened. And there were tears. And there was love revisiting and coming back into the room, into the heart, into the container that was their relationship, that is their relationship. And that moment, just like with the young boy, that moment of letting go, of going from the no to the yes, of the, oh well, okay, sorry. That heart opening, that step is like, somebody's like jumping off a cliff. We can feel so naked and oh my God, what if that's not received? We can honestly feel like our life is on the line. It can feel existential, that is taking a chance on life. Those yeses are so powerful and so scary sometimes. The guilt and the remorse that we can feel as we let go gradually, as that bag spills out of the anger and all the stuff and the story of, yeah, but you said, I don't know, and maybe we're not really meant for each other and all that stuff, spilling out of that bag until the bag is empty. That is taking a chance on life, my friends. That is putting your cards on the table. That is being vulnerable. That is what a yes is. Most powerful little word in the world. Yes, I mean, no is pretty powerful too, because a no is a, I'm out of here. That's powerful in its own way, but it's a word of limitation. No is a word of limitation and negativity, right? Yes evaporizes limitation. Yes, I'll try it. Yes. Yes, I want to stay with you. Yes. Let's not do that again. Let's hold each other. Let's be together. And we let go of all that baggage, all that story, all the credibility we give to that story. Yes. You can't find the yes, really, until you locate all the no's. And that's your work. If I can give you some homework, be vigilant during this next week. Look where you're a no, even in little things. See if you can turn it into a yes, unless it's something that is dangerous or stuff like that. But normally it's not. It's just our stubbornness, our fear. Fear is the support of stubbornness. We're afraid of change. We're afraid of vulnerability. We're afraid of visibility. We're afraid of being too out there, the whole 9 yards, right? Check the no's and see if you can turn them into yeses, especially with each other, my beautiful people, especially with each other. All right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being with me. I love you. Mahalo, Carol. Thank you all. See you next week.